You are listening to Newvision Oldways, the podcast that explores timeless wisdom for the modern mind in a fun, relaxed, and most important, interactive way with you, the listener. I am your host, Tony Marinaccio, and let's get the episode started. Welcome, everyone, to another great episode of Newvision Oldways. I am so happy to be back after a week off, a little time to recharge my battery, so to speak, and I am ready to get into a fascinating subject with you. But first, as always, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. And now, with the YouTube channel fully up and running, we are hitting on all cylinders. If you are able, please visit the Newvision, one word, Oldways, one word, YouTube channel and hit subscribe. That would be so appreciated, as that is vital to growing this podcast on YouTube. And there will be others that I promise you I will be developing other podcasts as well. So thank you for doing that. And it's, of course, free and very much appreciated. And also, I want to thank Brazil, of all places, for jumping on board. So to whomever is listening in Brazil, thank you. Very cool stuff. So in the last episode, I went over how we can get out of the feeling of being stuck in our lives, in our old ways, getting past that and then living our best life. But if we are not careful, our move forward can be derailed at any time. And one of the biggest, if not the biggest reasons why, is how we think and what we say. Thoughts and words are, quite frankly, who we are. These thoughts we have and the words we use dictate how every second of our lives go. So today, I want to delve into how we can control what we think and what we say in order to stay on the right path and not get derailed. So let's get this episode started. Episode 15. Thoughts and words are your past, present, and future.
I think chatter is one of the big problems we face as a species. We spend between 1/3 and 1/2 of our waking hours not living in the present. And what do we do during that time? We're talking to ourselves. Your inner voice is your ability to silently use language to reflect on your life. Chatter refers to the dark side of the inner voice. When we turn our attention inward to make sense of our problems, we don't end up finding solutions. We end up ruminating, worrying, catastrophizing. We get stuck in a negative cycle that takes this remarkable tool that we possess, this inner voice, and it turns it into a curse rather than a blessing.
That clip is from Ethan Kross, a professor of psychology, and what he said there is exactly why this episode is so important. So many of us fall victim to our own thoughts, and the words that we speak not only reinforce the negative thoughts we have, but they also cause us to get stuck in that cycle of nonstop negative thinking. And in my own experience, I have struggled with a negative mindset at times, and it is so easy to fall into that. And how many times have you felt and said that nothing ever goes my way, the world is against me, no one understands me, basically everything in my life sucks, right? If you are like many people, then probably a lot. But what does that thinking and talking like that do? It makes those statements true. For the words we think and speak manifest everything. The self-fulfilling prophecies are real and happen more times than we can possibly keep track of. So why then do we allow ourselves to manifest anything but the best for ourselves? Well, this has been an issue since the beginning of mankind in one way or another.
But what has happened through the gradual evolution of thinking is that now humans tend to overthink. There is a lot of not only unnecessary thinking that generates unnecessary and in many cases non-existent problems, such as when you lie awake at night in bed and start worrying. It generates a lot of unnecessary unhappiness. So people don't realize that a significant part of the unhappiness in their lives is actually generated by unnecessary, negative, often destructive mind activity, and they don't even know it. Mindfulness is, first of all, discovering the simple fact that there is a voice in your head that continuously comments on your life or on what's happening around you. It's there's the self-talk in there. Everybody knows what the self-talk is in there. You talk to yourself. Sometimes you talk to yourself in the first person, I. Some people talk to themselves in the second person, you. So you can get annoyed with yourself, and then you say, you shouldn't have done that. And then you have another thought and says, yes, but I couldn't help it.
That was spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle. And what he said there, if you caught it, he mentioned unnecessary unhappiness. And that's exactly what we push ourselves into when we are doing nothing but negatively thinking and negatively talking to ourselves. So how then do we control this seemingly uncontrollable voice in our heads? And how do we then control what we say? With the help of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, we have found ways and techniques to help individuals identify and challenge negative thought patterns, replacing them with more positive and realistic ones. This therapy has been effective in treating various mental conditions, including depression and anxiety, by promoting healthier thinking patterns. And this therapy is crucial to the idea of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections, essentially changing the way our brains actually work. It is not only possible, but probable that we can all do this. I touched on this in previous episodes, but really delved into it in episode 8, Designing the Mind. Our brains can be retrained to think in a different way. And there are several ways we can do this. Of course, as previously mentioned, therapy is one way, and I encourage anyone who is really struggling to seek help with this. There is nothing more important than our health and mental well-being, so professional help can be a way to get the mind back on track. But there are ways that we can do this other than that, and I'll go over some of my not only favorite ways, but tried and true methods for changing the way we think and speak. In the last episode, I spoke about how easy it is to beat ourselves up over anything that doesn't go our way. And a basic thing we can do to overcome this is practicing self-compassion, or self-love. Learning to love ourselves is a major key to breaking out of the negative thinking and negative talk cycle. Being kind to ourselves and practicing self-compassion is vital. Be aware of this at all times and challenge yourself to change the negative thoughts you are having and learn to identify them as they come and reframe them into positive thoughts. It's not always easy, but the more that you practice this, and yes, it takes practice, but the more you do it, the easier it will become, and your brain will be retrained to seek the positive and push aside the negative. If you are having a bad day, change that thought to, I may be having a bad day, but there are lessons I can learn from this, and I will be stronger for it. When thoughts of a bad day occur or the feeling of failure is present, saying to yourself that it's a learning experience is not only changing the thought from negative to positive, but it is actually true. We can learn from everything that happens in our day. Our brains are constantly changing, but the key is to grab control of that change. Remember, it's your brain. You are in charge, not your friends, not your enemies, not your past. You are in charge right now. You are. And once you take charge of your thoughts, purposely changing the negative to positive, your life will change for the positive as well. Will you experience bad days again? Of course you will. But your ability to handle the bad will become stronger. And instead of focusing on how bad your day was, or how that person wronged you, or how you don't know how to do something that you've dreamed of doing, with your newfound mind strength, you can instead focus on the solutions to those problems, or focus on learning to do the thing that you dreamed of doing. It's an incredibly important mind shift that can change your life. And as I always say, again, what is more important than your life? A big part of all of this is your awareness and identification of the negative. In episode 3, I spoke about transcendentalism and mindfulness, the idea of being completely present in the moment, not being distracted constantly with social media and text, focusing on what you are thinking and saying at all times. Otherwise, if you are not in the moment and you are distracted, The negative thoughts and negative words will spill out without you probably even realizing it. And as I said, it takes practice. It takes courage also to be that self-aware. I want to make a distinction, though. There is a difference between overthinking and being aware of what you are thinking and saying. Overthinking will probably cause anxiety and stress for you, but being keenly aware of your thoughts and words will lead to less stress and anxiety. A suggestion that could help with this is to journal your negative thoughts and emotions. This can help pull yourself out of the negative thought patterns, while gratitude journaling can help shift your focus from the negative thoughts to the positive things in your life. It takes effort on your part to do this, but it really works. And also, make sure you surround yourself with positivity. We all have people in our lives that may mean no harm, but all they do is complain. Even when something good happens, they can still find a way to complain that it wasn't good enough. Spend as much time with people that uplift you by their positivity. Remember, we become our environment, and if you surround yourself with negative people, you cannot help but to become that way yourself. How can you visualize success if everyone around you is complaining? It's almost next to impossible to visualize success in your career, in your relationship, in education, in any aspect of your life. Negative thoughts and words will cloud that view, and you will not be able to attain that success because you will not be able to focus on it. Set realistic goals for that success and use constant positive affirmations to keep that focus where it needs to be. You can look up affirmations pertaining to your goal, but you can always make up your own and repeat them not only daily, but many times a day, no matter what is happening. This will allow you to essentially keep your eye on the ball, and you will start to notice the opportunities around you. There is a great lyric from a Grateful Dead song called Scarlet Begonias that says, "Once in a while you get shown the light in the strangest of places if you look at it right." That line speaks to me, because if your focus is in the moment, you will see opportunity all around you, and you may have missed it if you were concentrating on the past and negative feelings. Starting out the day correctly will help you see the light that the Grateful Dead was talking about. A way of getting prepared for your day and starting it correctly is with meditation. Even if it's just 5 minutes, that can calm the brain. It can allow you to be focused, and saying your positive affirmations will set the stage for the day ahead. And this will allow you to stay cognizant of any negative thoughts, and immediately you'll be able to change them to the positive. Another way to enhance your neuroplasticity or brain change is to learn a new skill. From learning how to play an instrument to learning about a new technology like AI, or dare I say cryptocurrency, to learning a crafting skill or a building skill, to learning a new language, can all help the brain change and reorganize. You do not need to be an expert at any of this, but simply doing your best to learn that new skill will allow your brain to change. And most importantly, you were in charge of that change. And a sense of personal satisfaction can change the negative to positive in a hurry. Also, gaining new social connections with positive interactions can stimulate neuroplasticity by promoting the release of oxytocin and other neurochemicals. Low oxytocin hormone levels have been linked to depression, so increasing them naturally with positive social interaction is an extremely healthy way to correct the low levels and decrease depression. We will be discussing depression and anxiety in future episodes at length, so watch for that. It is a very important subject area, to say the least. This also leads us to an important factor in the negative to positive thinking and talk, which is your overall health. Not only do negative words and thoughts hurt your mental well-being, but I am a firm believer that they also hurt our physical bodies in many ways. Negative thoughts and words can trigger stress and anxiety, leading to physical symptoms like headaches, muscle tension, and digestive issues. Our negative thoughts and words can cause immune system suppression. Chronic stress from negative thinking can weaken the immune system, making the body more susceptible to infections. Our thoughts and words can also affect our cardiovascular system. Negative emotions and thoughts can increase the risk of heart disease by raising the blood pressure and heart rate. Chronic pain. Negative self-talk can exacerbate chronic pain conditions by increasing the perception of pain. Studies have concluded that reducing pain, catastrophizing, when you think the worst, increased pain tolerance and reduced subjective pain scores. Also, something I have seen a lot of is how negative emotions can lead to emotional eating and weight gain. These are just a few of the physical issues that negative thinking and negative talk can lead to, which is why concentrating on changing negative thoughts and words to the positive is so important. Remember the old saying, we are what we eat? Well, that statement should have always included, we are also what we think and say. Mind, body, and soul are all affected by our thoughts and words.
Let's talk about this for a second. Why are we ruled by our past, our history of trauma, our childhoods, things that have happened to us in the past seem to define and make decisions for us in this present moment? It's the reasons we struggle with anxiety. It's the reason that we are arrested by our trauma. It's the reason that we continue to fall into depressive episodes or just feel stuck in general with procrastination or just feeling limited in the beliefs that we have or the actions that we take in our lives. Why is this? Well, think about this for a second. Our brain is a bank of memories. So every moment we have in our life is being recorded, and in a lot of ways, it's being used as a bit of a Rolodex to make sense of this present moment, to plan and anticipate for the future. As a result of this, we are oftentimes, our identity is created by what we're told or the culture we live in or the experiences that we have. And if we don't believe we can do something, or that we're not worth a particular outcome or a particular action or a group of people, then our brain will say, yeah, not really interested in going after that. So we become limited. And so it's upon us to begin to break free from that, recognize that these are just limitations based on memories and history and do not need to define us in this present moment or our future.
That was Dr. Elisha Goldstein, and he makes some really great points in that clip. I understand that there are many reasons why you have a negative mindset. You may have had a lot of negative baggage passed down to you. Again, we can be a product of our environment, but breaking that cycle is another key here. We cannot blame the past anymore. We are in control of our present, which makes us in control of our future. But we have to make the commitment to change. This has to be a constant practice of catching negative thoughts and turning them into the positive. It will not be easy at first, like I've said, but the more we are mindful of this every day, all day, the easier it will get. You have the power to put an end to it, and you have the power to retrain your mind to think in ways you never thought possible. It's within you. You just need to understand that meditation, yoga, exercise, eating well can all help you accomplish your goal of becoming a positive thinker. Incorporate several new tactics like these, whatever works for you, and the life you have dreamed and hoped for will become reality. Staying in the negative will solve absolutely nothing. And I'm going to say that again because it's important. Staying in the negative will solve absolutely nothing. You can deactivate the negative genes, but it takes commitment. You can't let others drag you down. You can't let social media put unrealistic thoughts in your head. You are in control of you. You can let your mind be polluted with the negative, or you can choose to open your mind to the positive and seek solutions and joy instead of negativity and sorrow. A book that I highly suggest reading is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. It is an easy read, and a great quote from that book reads as follows: "Being impeccable with your word is the correct use of your energy. It means to use your energy in the direction of truth and love for yourself. If you make an agreement with yourself to be impeccable with your word, just with that intention, the truth will manifest through you and clean out all the emotional poison that exists within you. Once you have released that negative poison that Mr. Ruiz mentions, we can finally realize what many call the law of attraction. The law of attraction is a philosophy suggesting that positive thoughts bring positive results into a person's life, while negative thoughts bring negative outcomes. In other words, a positive mindset will attract more success and happiness than a negative one. And this law, so to speak, applies to all areas of your life, including health, finances, and relationships. To understand the law of attraction, though, we must understand the law of vibration. The law of vibration is a fundamental law of the universe that states that everything in existence vibrates at a certain frequency. This includes physical objects, thoughts, emotions, and even the energy that surrounds us. The law of vibration works through the power of attraction, which means that when you emit a certain frequency, you will attract experiences, people, and situations that vibrate at the same frequency. Here are a few things we can do to activate this law of attraction. Start with being grateful. Visualize your goals. Look for positives in a situation, even if it's a difficult one. Learn how to identify negative thinking and be purposeful in changing it to positive thinking. Use positive affirmations. Reframe negative events in a more positive way. All the things I've spoke about in this episode, and the law of attraction brings it all together. While the law of attraction may not be an immediate solution for all of life's challenges, it can help us learn to cultivate a more optimistic outlook on life, and it may also help you stay motivated to continue working towards your goals. By being faithful to the law of attraction, we are changing our thoughts and our words in order to manifest the dreams and goals that we have for our lives. But it all starts with a commitment to make this happen. And I'll say it again, we are in control of our minds. Do not let anyone or anything take that control away from you. You have the power to reprogram your mind by positive thinking and using positive language. By doing this, your life will change. It will evolve, and you will become the best you can be. So, what do you think? I'd love to find out. And here is a way to get a hold of the show and let us know. These are always in the show notes, but as always, here they are. You can message us from each episode on certain platforms. I know Spotify can do it. Just look for the send us a text message link, and you can shoot me a message that way. You can also email us at newvisionoldways@gmail.com. You can find us on what was Twitter, now X, at Newvision Oldway. Remember, there's no S on that. It's Newvision, at Newvision Oldway. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, the Newvision Oldways YouTube channel is fully up and running, and showing your support by subscribing would be so appreciated. Of course, it's free and will help grow our presence on YouTube. And again, I thank you for that so much. You can also find us on Facebook. Just type in Newvision, one word, Oldways, one word, podcast, and you should easily find us. And as a reminder, these are obviously still growing platforms for us and expanding all the time. So we need your help to get the flow going with the community. And last but not least, if you could do me a huge favor and subscribe to us, like us, follow us, leave us a review on whatever platform you found us on, that would be so appreciated. That will also help secure guests like Joe Barnes that we will be booking in the future. So as I told you before, season 2 is going to have a few surprises along the way, and I truly hope you are enjoying it. I can't wait to get your input, and I can't wait until we get together again for the next episode of Newvision Oldways. Until then, be safe, be cool to each other, and let's change the world. This episode of Newvision Oldways has been engineered and produced by TKM Productions and your host, Tony Marinaccio.